I was scrolling mindlessly through Instagram when my cousin Rachel's comment stopped my heart. OMG Serenity, your new beach house is absolutely gorgeous. Blessed Geus oceanfront. My name is Isabella, and I hadn't heard anything about my sister buying a beach house, which was strange, considering how Serenity never missed an opportunity to broadcast her achievements. I clicked through to the photos, my hands trembling as I gripped my phone. There she was, posing in front of floor-to-ceiling windows, the Atlantic Ocean sparkling behind her like a screensaver. The caption read, "Dreams do come true. So grateful for this incredible pre-wedding gift from Mom and Dad. Blessed, new chapter stock ocean views." I felt sick, the kind of sick that starts in your stomach and crawls up your throat until you can't breathe. Because I knew with absolute certainty that my parents couldn't afford a beach house. Not unless... Alex? I called my lawyer immediately. I need you to check something for me, now. 2 days later, I sat across from my family at our weekly dinner, a manila envelope on my lap. My leg brace caught the light as I shifted in my chair, a constant reminder of the accident that changed everything 2 years ago. "So," I said, cutting through Mom's chatter about wedding preparations, "when were you planning to tell me about the beach house?" The silence was immediate. Dad suddenly became very interested in his pasta. Mom's smile froze, then melted into something practiced and patronizing. "Oh, sweetie," she said, reaching across to pat my hand. I pulled it away. "We wanted to surprise everyone. It's such a wonderful gift for Serenity's new life." "Wonderful," I echoed, pulling documents from the envelope. "Especially since you paid for it with my settlement money." Serenity's fork clattered against her plate. "That's ridiculous." Is it?" I slid the papers across the table. "Because these bank statements show exactly how you accessed my trust fund. The one set up after the accident. The one meant for my ongoing medical care and accessibility modifications." "Isabella?" Dad started, his voice weak. "We had to make some difficult decisions." "Difficult?" I laughed, but there was no humor in it. Was it difficult to forge my signature? To exploit the family emergency clause? To steal from your disabled daughter? "Don't be so dramatic." Serenity rolled her eyes. "It's not like you're really using it anyway. You can walk now, sort of. And let's be honest, your future isn't exactly bright and sunny anymore, is it?" The room went dead quiet. Mom didn't even scold her for the comment. Of course not. She never did. "I'm calling my lawyer," I said, my voice steady despite the rage burning through my veins. "I'm suing all of you." Mom's face darkened. "You wouldn't dare hurt this family over money. After everything we've done for you? Taking care of you after the accident? Taking care of me?" I pushed back my chair, gathering my crutches. "You mean like when you complained about installing the stairlift because it ruined the aesthetic? Or when you told me to skip physical therapy because Serenity needed help addressing wedding invitations?" I stood up, towering over their shocked faces. "You think I'm being dramatic? Watch me. I'm going to take back what's mine, and I'm going to make sure everyone knows exactly what kind of family you really are." "You're bluffing," Serenity sneered, but I caught the flash of fear in her eyes. I smiled, cold and precise. "Try me. You know what they say about karma. She's only a bitch if you are." As I made my way to the door, my crutches clicking against the hardwood floors, Mom called out, "Isabella, don't you dare walk out that door." I turned back one last time. "Don't worry, Mom, I'm not just walking out. I'm taking everything with me." "They did what?" Alex's voice rose as he flipped through the documents spread across his desk. "Isabella, this is fraud, plain and simple." I shifted in my chair, adjusting my leg brace. "Can we prove it?" "Oh, we can prove it." He pulled out specific papers, pointing to highlighted sections. "See this? They exploited a clause meant for genuine family emergencies, medical crises, bankruptcies, not beach houses for the golden child." A memory flashed. Serenity complaining about my physical therapy appointments, interfering with her wedding dress fittings. "Mom, she can skip one session. It's not like she's getting better anyway." "Isabella?" Alex's voice pulled me back. Are you sure you want to do this? Family lawsuits get ugly. They got ugly the moment they stole from me. I leaned forward. What's our next step? Before Alex could answer, my phone buzzed. A text from Blake, my physical therapist. Missing your session? Not like you. Shit, I muttered. I need to go. But Alex, start whatever paperwork we need. I want them to feel this. 30 minutes later, I was at the rehabilitation center, Blake spotting me as I worked through my exercises. You seem tense today, he observed, helping me with my balance. Everything okay? Found out why my parents have been dodging my calls about the trust fund. I gripped the parallel bars harder. They bought Serenity a beach house, with my money. Blake's hands steadied me as I faltered. Jesus, that's criminal? Yeah. I took another step, forcing my leg to cooperate. You know what Serenity said when I confronted them? It's not like you're really using it anyway. The same sister who complained when I suggested installing grab bars in your bathroom? His voice was carefully neutral, but I caught the undertone of anger. The very same. I completed the walk, turning carefully. She's always been like this. When I first came home from the hospital, she told her friends not to visit because Isabella's kind of a downer now. Blake helped me to the exercise mat. And your parents? Mom redecorated my room while I was still in the ICU. Said the medical equipment would clash with her vision. I laughed bitterly. Should have seen her face when the hospital bed arrived. You'd think I'd brought in a dumpster. What are you going to do? I met his eyes. I'm suing them. All of them. He nodded slowly. Good. Back at Alex's office that afternoon, we went through the evidence. Bank statements, forged documents, even text messages between my parents discussing how to access my trust fund. Isabella, Alex said grimly, we've got them. If you're ready for this, we can destroy them. What exactly can we do? First, we file for immediate injunctive relief, freeze the house, prevent any transfers or sales. Then we go after them for fraud, breach of fiduciary duty, and conversion of funds. He leaned back. But that's just the legal side. Want to really make it hurt? I raised an eyebrow. Your sister's wedding is in 3 months. High society affair, right? Imagine what happens when this hits the social circuit. Rich family steals disabled daughter's settlement money for beach house? That's not just illegal. It's social suicide. My phone buzzed again. A text from Mom. We need to talk about your behavior at dinner. This tantrum needs to stop. I showed Alex the message. They still think I'm bluffing. Are you? I thought about all the times they dismissed me, minimized my pain, treated me like an inconvenience rather than their daughter. No, I said firmly. I want the house sold. I want my money back. And I want them to remember that the daughter they thought they could ignore? She's about to become impossible to forget. Alex gathered the papers into a folder. Then let's get started. Fair warning, this won't be pretty. I smiled, thinking of Serenity's perfect beach house and her perfect wedding plans. Good. Neither was what they did to me. The HOA has very strict rules about rental properties, I explained to Alex over coffee, especially short-term vacation rentals. Guess what Serenity's been doing to offset the maintenance costs? Alex grinned, typing notes on his laptop. Let me guess. Listing it on Airbnb without approval? Bingo! I had a friend book it for next weekend. Got the confirmation and everything. My phone lit up with a call from Mom. Third one today. I declined it, just like the others. Your parents' lawyer reached out, Alex said, his expression turning serious. They're offering to discuss terms. Of course they are. I stirred my coffee. Now that the initial paperwork's filed, they're finally taking me seriously. They want a family dinner, to talk things through. I was about to refuse when another call came in, this time from Damien, Serenity's fiancé. Isabella, hey, I hope I'm not interrupting anything. Not at all, I said, signaling to Alex to stay quiet. What's up? My parents are coming to town next weekend. They want to see the beach house. Mom's really into real estate. Would you come? Serenity mentioned wanting to have both families there. I muted the phone. Alex, When's that real estate agent scheduled to put up the for sale sign? He checked his calendar. Next Saturday at noon. I unmuted. I'd love to come, Damien. What time Saturday? Great, around 11? Mom wants to do lunch after the tour. Perfect. I'll be there. After hanging up, Alex raised an eyebrow. You're evil. I'm efficient, I corrected. Why waste multiple days of drama when you can consolidate? That evening, I agreed to the family dinner, if only to see their desperate attempts to contain the situation. Mom had chosen an upscale restaurant. Appearances, always appearances. Darling, she started as soon as I sat down, we've been thinking about what you said. About the fraud? I asked loudly enough for nearby tables to hear. Mom flinched. About the misunderstanding, Dad interjected quickly. We should have consulted you. Consulted me? About stealing my money? Serenity leaned forward. Can you stop being so dramatic? It's not like you can even drive to the beach house anyway. Serenity, Mom hissed, but the damage was done. Actually, I said, pulling out my phone, I can get there just fine. In fact, I'll be there Saturday. Damien invited me to meet his parents. The color drained from Serenity's face. What? Oh, yes. His mother is very interested in real estate. Can't wait to hear all about how you acquired such a lovely property. Isabella, Dad pleaded, be reasonable. We can work something out. Like you worked out how to forge my signature? I showed them my screen. The HOA complaint I was about to submit about unauthorized rentals. Or how you worked out turning my recovery fund into Serenity's party house? You wouldn't, Serenity whispered. Watch me. I gathered my crutches. Oh, and Mom? Remember how you always said I should be grateful for what I have? Well, I'm grateful for one thing. Documentation. Lots and lots of documentation. If you do this, Mom said, her voice shaking, you'll destroy your sister's wedding. I stood up steady despite my leg brace. You should have thought about that before you destroyed my trust. As I left, I heard Serenity's angry whispers. Do something! She's going to ruin everything! But there was nothing they could do. The legal wheels were in motion, and Saturday was coming. I texted Blake. Want to hear something funny? They think I'm the one ruining everything. His response came quickly. They ruined it themselves. You're just making sure they can't hide it anymore. I smiled, thinking about Saturday. The real estate sign. The HOA violations. Damien's proper judgmental mother. Serenity's perfect facade was about to crack, and I had front row seats. By the way, Blake added, need a ride to the beach house? I hear it's lovely this time of year. Actually, I replied, I think I do. Something tells me it's going to be quite a show. Blake pulled up to the beach house at exactly 10:55 a.m. Through the floor-to-ceiling windows, I could see Serenity gesturing animatedly, already in full performance mode for Damien's parents. Want me to stick around? Blake asked, helping me out of the car. Actually, yes. Park down the street. This won't take long. Inside, Serenity's smile flickered when she saw me, but she recovered quickly. Isabella, you made it! Wouldn't miss it, I said, turning to the elegant older woman examining the crown molding. You must be Sylvia. I'm Isabella, Serenity's sister. Ah, yes, Sylvia said, her eyes lingering on my leg brace. Damien mentioned there was another sister. This is quite a property for a young couple's first home. Oh, it's not, I started, but Serenity cut me off. Mom and Dad are just so generous, she gushed. They wanted us to have something special to start our lives together. Mom appeared from the kitchen, tension visible beneath her polished smile. Shall we start the tour? The view from the master bedroom is breathtaking. It certainly should be, I said clearly, considering what it cost. Damien frowned. What do you mean? Nothing! Serenity grabbed his arm. Let's go upstairs. The sunset from up there is amazing. We followed them up, my crutches making hollow sounds against the hardwood stairs. No elevator, of course. Serenity had made sure of that during renovations. The previous owners had a lift installed, I mentioned casually to Sylvia. Serenity had it removed, said it ruined the aesthetic. Sylvia's perfectly manicured eyebrows rose slightly. Halfway through Serenity's breathless description of her walk-in closet plans, a truck pulled up outside, right on schedule. "What's that noise?" Damien's father moved to the window. We all watched as two men emerged carrying a large "for sale" sign. Mom made a choking sound. "There must be some mistake." Serenity laughed nervously. "Damien, honey, call them off." "Actually," I said, pulling out my phone, "they're right on time. I have the listing agreement right here, along with some interesting documents about how this house was purchased." "Isabella," Dad warned, but Sylvia was already speaking. "Listed for sale? But you just acquired it. Unless—" She turned to Serenity, her voice sharp. "What exactly is going on here?" "I can explain," Serenity started, but Damien cut her off. "Isabella, what documents are you talking about?" I pulled up the files on my phone. "The ones showing how our parents accessed my accident settlement trust fund to buy this house, without my knowledge or consent. Would you like to see them?" The room went silent, except for the sound of hammering outside. "Your sister's trust fund?" Sylvia's voice could have frozen the ocean outside. "The one set up after her accident?" "It's not what you think," Mom tried. But Sylvia held up one manicured hand. "Damien, we're leaving. Now." She turned to me. "Isabella, I believe we need to have a private conversation. Soon." As they left, Serenity lunged for me, but Damien caught her arm. "Don't," he said quietly. "Just don't make it worse." The moment they were gone, Serenity screamed, "How could you? You've ruined everything." "No, you did that," I replied calmly. "I'm just making sure everyone knows about it." "We can fix this," Dad pleaded. "We'll sell the house, return the money." "Too late." I moved toward the stairs. "The lawsuit's already filed. The HOA's been notified about the illegal rentals. And Sylvia? She's on the board of half the charities Mom's been trying to join for years." "You vindictive bitch," Serenity spat. "You're just jealous because my life isn't ruined like yours." I paused at the top of the stairs. "My life isn't ruined, Serenity. But yours? It's about to be." Outside, Blake was waiting by his car. "How'd it go?" I looked back at the house, at the gleaming "for sale" sign, at Serenity's tear-streaked face in the window. "Perfectly," I said. "Exactly as planned." "Your sister took money from your disability trust fund?" Damien's voice cracked with disbelief. We sat in a quiet cafe, away from the chaos of the beach house confrontation. I pushed the documents across the table. "Not just her. My parents orchestrated the whole thing. Here's the paperwork showing how they manipulated the trust." His hands shook slightly as he read. "These signatures, they're forged? Compare them to my real signature on the last page." "Jesus!" He ran a hand through his hair. "And the Airbnb rentals?" "All unauthorized. All the money going straight to Serenity's wedding fund." His phone buzzed. Another text from Serenity. He ignored it, just like the previous 12. "There was an incident last month," he said slowly. "Serenity told my mother she was a department head at her company. Mom mentioned it to one of her friends who works there. Let me guess. She's actually a junior associate?" "Administrative assistant." He looked up. "She lied to my face about it. Said her friend must have been confused." My phone lit up with Mom's name. I declined the call. "They're trying to damage control," I explained. "Mom's already called 3 times offering to make this right if I drop everything." "Will you?" "No." I stirred my tea. "You know what Mom said when I needed the stair lift installed? Can't you just stay on the first floor? It's embarrassing having medical equipment in the house." Damien winced. Meanwhile, Serenity was redecorating her room with my trust fund money. Money meant for my medical care, my rehabilitation, my future. His phone buzzed again. This time, a text from his mother. "We need to talk about the wedding, now." Before he could respond, the cafe door chimed. Mom walked in, her face set in what I called her charity gala expression. concerned but composed. Isabella, we need to talk. She pulled out a chair without asking. This has gone far enough. Has it? I kept my voice level. Because I don't think it's gone far enough at all. You're being selfish, she hissed. Think about your sister's future. My future? I laughed. The one you stole to fund her beach house? We were going to pay you back, she insisted. Once Serenity was settled. With what money? Damien interrupted. The Airbnb rentals that violate HOA regulations? Mom's face paled. This doesn't concern you. Actually, it does. He stood up. Isabella, I need to go talk to my mother. But, thank you for telling me the truth. After he left, Mom's facade cracked. If you don't drop this lawsuit right now, you're cut off, for good. I leaned forward, meeting her eyes. Cut off from what, Mom? The family that stole from me? The sister who mocks my disability? The parents who chose her comfort over my recovery? I'm your mother. No, I said quietly. You're Serenity's mother. I'm just the daughter you got stuck with after the accident. That's not true, she whispered. But we both knew it was. You know what hurts the most? I gathered my crutches. Not the theft, not even the lies. It's that you never once asked me how I felt. About the accident, about my recovery, about anything. You were too busy making sure Serenity's life stayed perfect. Isabella, please. I'm done, Mom. Done being quiet, done being convenient, done being the daughter you wish you could hide away. I stood up. You want to cut me off? Go ahead. But remember, I'm not the one who's about to lose everything. As I left the cafe, my phone buzzed with a text from Blake. Physical therapy in an hour. Still coming? On my way, I replied. Need to keep getting stronger. Because that's what they never understood. They thought the accident broke me, made me weak, made me someone they could ignore and steal from. But they were wrong. It made me stronger. Strong enough to finally fight back. And I was just getting started. The wedding's off, Alex announced as I entered his office. Damien's mother called their wedding planner this morning. I sank into the chair, absorbing the news. How do you know? Small town, the planner's my cousin. He slid a coffee across his desk. Want to hear the best part? Sylvia's already called 3 different society columnists to, discreetly, explain why. My phone buzzed. Serenity's number. Again. I switched it to silent. She's been calling nonstop, I explained. Left 27 voicemails so far, each one worse than the last. Don't delete them, Alex advised. Could be useful for the case. A knock at the door interrupted us. Blake poked his head in. Sorry I'm early. Physical therapy got canceled. Pipe burst in the building. Perfect timing, Alex said. We were just discussing the nuclear fallout. My phone lit up again. This time with a text from an unknown number. A link to a local gossip blog with the headline, Society Wedding Cancelled, Family Fraud Scandal Rocks Coastal Elite. Well, I said, showing them the screen. That didn't take long. Blake read over my shoulder. Comments are already flowing in. People are not kind to your family. Speaking of family, Alex pulled out a fresh document. Your parents' lawyer reached out. They want to settle. Now they want to settle? I laughed. After everything? They're offering the full value of what they took, plus interest. He paused. And they want you to sign an NDA. Of course they do. I shook my head. Too late for that. My phone buzzed with another text. This time from Damien. Serenity's at my place. She's hysterical, threatening to hurt herself. What should I do? That's her favorite manipulation tactic, I told Blake when he looked concerned. She pulled the same thing when her last fiancé caught her cheating. I texted back. Call her bluff. Tell her you're calling 911 for a wellness check. Watch how fast she recovers. Isabella, Blake said softly. Are you okay? Really okay? Before I could answer, my phone exploded with notifications. The story had hit the major local news sites. Bride's dream home, bought with disabled sister settlement. Family fraud scandal. Sisters Medical Trust, raided for beach house. Society wedding implodes amid financial misconduct claims. Your sister's trending, Alex noted, checking his computer. Not in a good way. Right on cue, Serenity burst through the office door, mascara streaking down her face. You vindictive bitch! You've destroyed everything! Security! Alex called calmly into his phone. Fix this! She screamed. Call off the lawyers! Tell everyone it was a mistake! Like you told everyone my disability was exaggerated? I kept my voice steady. Or like you told Damien's mother the house was a gift from your savings. I deserved that house. I deserved a perfect wedding. You're just jealous because your life is over, while mine was supposed to be perfect. Security appeared in the doorway, but I held up my hand. My life isn't over, Serenity. It just looks different than you think it should. And now? Now your life is going to look different too. Ah, is this what you wanted? She spat. To ruin me? No, I said quietly. I wanted justice. The fact that it ruined you? That's just karma finally doing her job. As security led her away, still screaming, Blake touched my shoulder. You okay? I looked at my phone. More headlines, more messages, more fallout. Mom and Dad had apparently left town. Damien's mother was already being quoted about family values and financial propriety. You know what? I said, standing up. I actually am. For the first time since the accident, I feel free. Free enough for coffee? Blake asked with a small smile. Coffee sounds perfect. I gathered my crutches. Alex, call me if anything important happens. Important like your sister's public meltdown being filmed and going viral? He turned his screen to show us the video already spreading across social media. I shook my head. No. Important like actual legal matters. The rest? That's just the universe balancing its books. The house sold, Alex announced, dropping the final paperwork on his desk. Above asking price, actually. Turns out scandal is good for real estate. Who bought it? I asked, though I already knew the answer. Sylvia, he grinned. Said something about keeping it in proper hands. She's turning it into a recovery retreat for accident survivors. I couldn't help but laugh. The irony was perfect. Your parents' lawyer called again, he continued. They're in the Bahamas, taking time to process. Want to know if you'll accept a final settlement offer? Same terms as before? More money, same NDA requirement. I shook my head. Tell them it's too late for silence. My phone buzzed. A text from Blake. Check your email, now. I opened my inbox to find a forwarded message from the physical therapy center. Serenity had applied for a job there as an administrative assistant. She's desperate, Alex noted, reading over my shoulder. Lost her last job when the scandal broke. Damien's mother made sure of that. Speaking of Damien, I said, he sent me a thank you card. Said I saved him from making the biggest mistake of his life. Isabella? The receptionist's voice crackled over the intercom. Your sister's here. Alex reached for his phone, but I stopped him. No security this time. Let her in. Serenity looked different. No designer clothes, no perfect makeup. She seemed smaller somehow. Come to threaten me again? I asked. I came to... She swallowed hard. To ask for help. Help? I couldn't hide my surprise. I can't get a job. Mom and Dad won't answer my calls. All my friends. She dropped into a chair. Everyone knows what we did, what I did. And I'm sorry, she burst out. Is that what you want to hear? I'm sorry we took your money. I'm sorry I treated you like garbage. I'm sorry for everything. No, I said quietly. You're sorry you got caught. She deflated. What do you want from me? Nothing, not anymore. I gathered my papers. The house is sold, the lawsuit's settled, it's over. Over? She laughed bitterly. My life is ruined. No, your facade is ruined. There's a difference. I stood up. You can rebuild, Serenity, just not on someone else's foundation this time. Easy for you to say. You won. Won? I gestured to my leg brace. This isn't a game. This was my life you stole from. My recovery you mocked. My future you tried to sacrifice for your beach house fantasy. I never thought. That's right. You never thought. About anyone but yourself. I moved toward the door. By the way, don't bother with the therapy center application. I already called them. Her face crumpled. You blocked me from getting a job? No, I told them the truth. Let them decide if they want to hire someone who stole from a disabled person's trust fund. I paused. That's the thing about consequences, Serenity. They don't go away just because you're finally sorry. As she left, Alex whistled low. That was intense. It was necessary. I checked my phone. A message from Blake about dinner plans. She needed to understand that her tears don't fix anything anymore. And your parents? They can stay in the Bahamas. I smiled. I hear the weather's nice there. Perfect for reflecting on their choices. Speaking of reflection, Alex said, the court ordered the final settlement transfer. It's done. You won. I thought about that word, won. About the beach house now becoming a refuge for people like me. About Serenity finally facing reality. About my parents hiding from their shame in paradise. I didn't win, I said finally. I just stopped losing. My phone buzzed again. Blake. Still on for dinner? Made reservations at that new place by the water? I smiled, gathering my crutches. Actually, Alex, I think I did win, just not in the way they expected. Because sometimes winning isn't about revenge at all. Sometimes it's about reclaiming your story, one painful truth at a time. Welcome to your new home, Blake said, carrying the last box into my apartment. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooked the city skyline, and the setting sun painted everything in gold. Our new home, I corrected, watching him unpack kitchen items. We'd been dating for 3 months when he asked about moving in together. It felt right. My phone buzzed, a text from Sylvia. Recovery retreat opens next week. Would you consider being our guest speaker? Going to do it? Blake asked, reading over my shoulder. I think so. I wheeled myself onto the balcony in my new chair, sleek, electric, and perfect for the days when my leg wouldn't cooperate. Full circle, you know. The doorbell rang. Alex stood there with a bottle of champagne and a thick envelope. Final paperwork, he announced, setting both on the counter. Your trust fund's been fully restored, plus damages, and, he pulled out his phone, thought you might want to see this. It was a local news article. Prominent socialite couple lists mansion amid financial troubles. Mom and Dad? I asked. Turns out hiding in the Bahamas isn't cheap. Alex poured the champagne. Plus, their social circles completely dissolved. Amazing how quickly people distance themselves from trust fund thieves. And Serenity? Working as a receptionist in the next town over, living in a studio apartment. He smiled. Learning about budget management the hard way. Blake joined us with glasses. To new beginnings? Wait, I said, pulling out my phone. One last thing I need to do. I opened my email and began typing. Dear Mom and Dad, I'm not writing to gloat or condemn. I'm writing to say goodbye. You chose Serenity's wants over my needs. You chose appearances over authenticity. You chose theft over truth. But I'm choosing peace over anger, freedom over family obligation, joy over bitterness. I'm choosing to build a life you never thought I could have. Don't contact me again. Don't try to explain or apologize. Just know that I'm happy, I'm whole, and I'm finally free of the weight of your expectations. Goodbye, Isabella. Send, I whispered, clicking the button. You okay? Blake asked softly. Better than okay. I looked around the apartment, at the accessible design, the modern furnishings, the life I was building. I'm exactly where I should be. Alex raised his glass. To Isabella, who taught us all that karma doesn't need help, just patience. And to new families, Blake added, squeezing my hand. The ones we choose? My phone buzzed one last time. A message from the recovery retreat's first confirmed guest. Thank you for sharing your story. It gave me courage to stand up to my own family's abuse. You know what the best revenge is? I said, watching the sunset over my new beginning. Living well, yes, but also turning pain into purpose. Speaking of purpose, Blake pulled out a brochure. The physical therapy center's looking for a patient advocate, someone who understands both sides of recovery. I took the brochure, thinking about all the others like me, struggling not just with injuries, but with families who saw them as burdens. I'll apply tomorrow, I decided, right after I finish decorating our home. Our home, Blake repeated, smiling. I like how that sounds. Alex gathered his things. Dinner next week? That new place by the park is fully accessible. Perfect, I said, walking him to the door. No crutches needed today. And Alex? Thank you for everything. After he left, Blake and I stood at the windows, watching the city lights flicker on. No beach house view, but something better. A view of the future I chose for myself. They laughed when I found out, I said softly. But they cried when they realized I wasn't just surviving. You were rising, Blake finished, pulling me close. And there, in an apartment I bought with my restored trust fund, with a man who saw my strength instead of my scars, I finally understood. Sometimes the happiest endings don't come from forgiveness. They come from walking away and building something better.